emerging only when needed, revealing themselves to the world in a moment marked by the realization of their ultimate destiny. With backs against the wall, they ascend the winding path of their own fate, barely knowing the ledge, despite coping with living a whole life as two halves.
Morning, live from Pasadena, California. I'm Deanie Wimmer, along with Jeremiah Jensen, Sam Farnsworth, Debbie Worthen, and Casey Scott.
Over here on Colorado Boulevard, the Rose Parade is just wrapping up, where thousands of Utahns were sporting their red to join in the celebration.
We're here at the Rose Bowl, the granddaddy of them all, where the University of Utah will take on the Penn State Nittany Lions just 4 hours from now.
Let's go ahead and take a look back at what brought the Utes here, as well as tens of thousands of their fans to Pasadena.
The Utah Utes entered the 2022 college football season with more hype than ever. A number 7 ranking, the highest preseason ranking ever for the program. They were a popular preseason pick for the college football playoff, but a lot of that hype was left at the swamp after a disappointing 29-26 loss to Florida to open the season. More adversity would follow. Star tight end Brant Keithy lost for the season after a knee injury at Arizona State. After a 4-game win streak and 2-0 conference start, the Utes were dealt another setback against UCLA, a double-digit loss that put their Pac-12 title hopes in jeopardy.
You just got to have unwavering belief and just make sure that you're just there for your guys no matter what.
The team was at a crossroads, a season on the brink the following Saturday at Rice-Eccles Stadium. What better way to bounce back than a win over Caleb Williams and the USC Trojans? The Utes had to rally from a 14-point deficit, and it required a career-best game from Dalton Kincaid to do so. 16 catches, 234 yards.
Play action roll, throw to the end zone, wide open, caught, touchdown! Dalton Kincaid all by himself.
And a touchdown. 562 yards of total offense, and it all came down to this. After Cam Rising scored to cut the Trojans' lead to 1, Kyle Whittingham decided to go for 2 and the win.
Surveys, Cam scrambles, Cam to the end zone, he's in! He's in!
Fortune favored the Bowl. The win over USC gave new life to the Utes' Pac-12 title hopes. After a bye week, they faced a trap game at Washington State. They hadn't won on the Palouse since 2011, and they would have to do it without their star quarterback. Bryson Barnes stepped in for Rising and led the Utes to a gritty 21-17 win.
You can always be prepared for the moment, but until that moment comes, you're not going to know what it's like.
They dominated Arizona and Stanford at home. Then the Utes faced another tough road test, Pac-12 After Dark in Eugene. A win over the 12th-ranked Oregon Ducks would clinch a spot on the Pac-12 title game. Down 17-3, they rallied to tie it, but one chance after another in the fourth quarter came up short. The Utes left Eugene with a loss, but they still clung to a fraction of hope at still playing for a title, a 15% chance. All they needed was to beat Colorado, have UCLA beat Cal, Oregon State beat Oregon, and Washington beat Washington State. And somehow, it all came together. And at 12:15 a.m. on the final day of the regular season, the stars aligned. Utah would get to defend their title in Las Vegas. This time, a rematch against Heisman Trophy winner Caleb Williams and the 4th-ranked USC Trojans. Once again, the Utes fell behind by 14 early, and again they would rally, closing the gap by halftime. The Utes would take control in the second half. The defense sacked Caleb Williams 7 times and allowed just 1 second-half touchdown. The offense racked up 533 yards and outscored USC 44-10 in the second half. They left no doubt. 47-24 the final.
Let's go! Yeah! Yeah! Back to back, baby! Back to back!
Back-to-back conference champions. It wasn't the path we thought they would take to get to Pasadena, but they're back with unfinished business.
So that that is how the Utes got here. And now that they've earned another trip to the Rose Bowl, their focus is on unfinished business.
Yeah, that business, winning the Rose Bowl trophy, taking it back to Salt Lake City for the first time in program history. Something that slipped through their hands by a narrow margin last year against Ohio State, 48-45. And pretty much every key Utah player from that game last year is back for today's game against Penn State. Last year, this whole experience was magical for the team, but it also included a lot of firsts. The school had never been to a Rose Bowl with all the hype and hoopla that surrounds it. They showed well against Ohio State, but now they're here for a second time around. There are no surprises this time. It's all familiar, and the team is laser focused on finishing what they started last year. They are here to bring home a Rose Bowl trophy.
You want to enjoy a bowl experience, but I think a lot of us are thinking of this as a business trip.
All the festivities were new to us last year, and it definitely is a business trip. It feels more like that more than a trip this year. So when it's time to work, it's time to work. When it's time to have fun, but not too much fun, you know?
Because we've been here before, like if you talk to juniors, it seems like everyone's more focused on the game than last year, for sure.
We've been preparing for this for forever now, since last January when we lost a game. So
I remember seeing them celebrate and have the ceremony right after, and then seeing that as I walked off the field, and that's kind of just been engraved in my head ever since, and want to be on the other side of it now.
You know, not a lot of people can say they've been to 2 Rose Bowls, let alone back-to-back Rose Bowls. So obviously we want a different outcome this year, and that's the only thing that's pushing us right now, is that we want to win, and we want the feeling of being on the other end where we're celebrating and the confetti's falling down on us.
Yeah, now as focused as they are on this business, which is winning the Rose Bowl game, they still were able to have some fun this week.
Yeah, let's go back over to Deanie Wimmer, who has more on how the Utes started this Rose Bowl week.
Yeah, hey guys, before the Utes got down to business getting in their final reps for the weekend, they got to have a little fun in the happiest place on earth.
My mom would have been so proud to see me. She loves Disneyland, and seeing me in the parade.
When we go to bowl games, there's 2 things you want to do. First of all, win the game and enjoy your time there. And so our guys do a great job of knowing when to work and when to have a good time.
It's always awesome. One thing that I love coming to Disneyland growing up is seeing the parade, and just to be a part of it 2 years in a row is spectacular.
I love Disney. I grew up with a big family. We couldn't really make it out to Disneyland that much, so this has been a magical experience for sure.
It was awesome, just being a part of it. I grew up in California as well, watching the parade, so being a part of it was something different.
It was amazing to see all the Utah fans, and just to be a part of that. You dream of those things as a little kid, and so to be on the other side of that in the parade is amazing.
Going to the Rose Bowl is definitely an experience for the players and for the fans. Debbie and Casey have been hanging out at fans over at the world-famous Rose Parade all morning. Hey guys, how's it going over there?
You know what? It's going great, and thank you. We're at the starting point of where the Rose Bowl parade just began. Yeah. It just wrapped up, yes. And Debbie, to be honest with you, I'm amazed. Do you know what I'm amazed at?
What?
We've been here 12 hours, and Hollywood hasn't exposed us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're like, hey, you guys are superstars.
Right, yeah, totally. No, it's been a lot of fun here, and it's funny because it was so organized, so clean, so friendly, and now we just have this sea of people. Yeah, Derek, show what we have out here at this point. Just people now. There's a lot of people, Casey, about 1 million people.
A 5.5-mile long parade route is what it is, and there's been a sea of red throughout the day. Ute fans everywhere.
Yeah, that's right, and it was just amazing to watch as the Ute float and marching band went by. The crowd went crazy. It was electric out here as the hundreds of University of Utah students marched, and the thousands of fans screamed and cheered. Now, the University of Utah float covered in red and white roses with the cheerleaders pumping up the crowd. This is just a small slice of what is 5.5 miles of this parade route, with nearly 1 million people lining the streets on this gorgeous morning in Pasadena.
And you know what? The band was such a hit that we just had a gentleman stop us and go, out of all of the floats and everything, that was my favorite, was the University of Utah Marching Band.
Yeah, and Casey and I talked, and some of the bands had a little swagger and others didn't, and the UU Marching Band, oh my gosh, they were absolutely amazing. Can't wait until kickoff, which is just in a few hours from now.
It's going to be awesome.
What an experience, you guys. Thank you. Great job. You know, dozens of fans from both Utah and Penn State tried to leave Southern California a little better than they found it this weekend. Students, alumni, faculty, even fans of each university gathered at the LA Regional Food Bank Saturday morning to put together food boxes. Those boxes go to individuals, families, and seniors in need here in the LA area. The
Rose Bowl is such an incredible pageant. It's nice to ground yourself in the community where you're going to be for a few days and be able to serve.
Oh, it feels great. I think it's good for the community. We want to give back to where we're visiting.
Volunteers and put together more than 1,800 food boxes in a friendly competition between the two fan bases. Utah fans were able to assemble more boxes than the Penn State fans, and we're told that the winner of the service project usually goes on to win the Super Bowl. JJ and Sam, I'm not sure that's official, but we're going with it. The fans can help us win the game. We'll take that too.
Yeah, the Utes will certainly take that. Thanks, Deanie. Our coverage of the 2023 Rose Bowl will continue after a short break.
Yeah, Deanie Wimmer will be joined by Utah Athletics Director Mark Harlan coming up.
And Stevenson Sylvester will join us live to explain why Cam Rising is the most important player in this game, plus who has to step up for the Utes to bring home that Rose Bowl trophy. That and much more coming up live from Pasadena after this. Welcome back to sunny Pasadena and the Rose Bowl. Both teams are going to be shorthanded today. Penn State star defensive back Joey Porter Jr. sitting this out to get ready for the NFL draft, and so is Utah star defensive back Clark Phillips III.
Yeah, injuries also playing a role in that on both sides of the ball. Utah's leading receiver Dalton Kincaid is out, as well as Penn State's top receiver Parker Washington.
That's just how it is in college football these days, and the depth of both of these teams is going to be tested in this game. The Utes have embraced that next man up mentality as they've gone through the season. A season with the losses of key players like Brant Keithy and Tavion Thomas, and now, of course, Kincaid and Phillips. With that, opportunities have come up for players like Thomas Yasmin, Jaquindon Jackson, and Zamaya Vaughn to fill in and to shine.
It's a testament to the philosophy of next man up. We have one hell of a team. We have a lot of great players, a lot of young players as well that are coming in, and they got to mature fast, and that's just how it is. That's what Utah football is all about. When you're ready to play, your number's going to be called, and you got to be ready for it. And those guys, when their number is called, they always are ready.
All right, we welcome in Stevenson Sylvester, joins us as always on KSL Sports Live. He'll also be on the radio call today on ESPN 700 of this game. This has got to be an honor to be a part of this. You got to be fired up and excited for this.
Of course, back-to-back years out here in L.A. Today, the weather is perfect. It's a great day for football.
All right, let's get to it. Cam Rising. I view him as the most important player of this game. Do you agree?
Oh, yes. I've been saying it for the past month. Yeah. It feels like Cam Rising in this game, when you're facing a complex defense as Penn State, aggressive, traditional, strong, you're going to need a confident quarterback, an experienced quarterback, which Cam Rising is. He's been in the biggest games and came up and made the biggest plays in those games. And so they're going to need that today, whether we're running the football with Jaquindon or Jalen Glover or Mekhi Bernard, or we're throwing it to Devon Bailey, Manir McClain, Thomas Yasmin, Jalen Dixon. We're going to need Cam Rising to manage everything. And I think the game plan that we got going into this game, having to do pre-snap reads for complex shifts, Cam Rising's the man for the job. So I think that in order for us to come out with a victory today, Cam Rising's going to be at his best.
Okay, one name that you mentioned was Jaquindon Jackson. Let's talk about that run game for a little bit, because for Utah, it was a little inconsistent at times throughout the year. Jaquindon, though, he really came on at the end of the season. He seems like the running back of the future. Do you think he has an opportunity to shine today at the Rose Bowl?
Oh, yeah, no question. I mean, Andy Ludwig said it best. Jaquindon's future is at running back here at Utah, and rightfully so. He's played amazing, especially the last few weeks. The week 12 against Colorado, and then the Pac-12 championship, both over 100 yards rushing. He's really coming to his own, and, experience is the best teacher, right? So at the beginning of the season, he was a quarterback, and so he's gotten his reps and making it more comfortable for him to be at the running back position. So I expect expect him to put on a really good show here in California.
We'll see if Thomas Yasmin can step in the place of Dalton Kincaid and Zamaya Vaughn for Clark Phillips. Those are some key players in this game as well for the Utes. Sly, you're not done here. We'll be back here with you here momentarily. But there is more than just a trophy at stake for the Utes at this Rose Bowl. A victory over a blue blood program like Penn State would only help elevate the status of the University of Utah.
Yeah, winning back-to-back Pac-12 championships and being consistently ranked in the top 25 certainly helps out with that. We've seen the steps Utah has taken over the past decade since becoming a Pac-12 school, from Power 5 newcomer to perennial Pac-12 title contender, and now it's on to the next level. Another big step can be taken with a Utah win over Penn State. This program doesn't just want to be known as Pac-12 champions or Rose Bowl winners. They want to be listed among the premier programs in the country.
More than anything, great for our program. Our program, we want to establish ourselves as one of the elites in the country, and to be coming back to a New Year's Six bowl game twice in a row is an amazing experience, and I think that it's kind of indicative of the trajectory of our program.
We pride ourselves in being the toughest team in the pack. Well, you know what, now we have a chance to prove ourselves on a national stage, that we are really tough and aggressive.
You know, winning certainly brings its privileges, right? Deanie Wimmer got a chance to check out some of the team's new digs over at the stadium at Rice-Eccles and find out what being a two-time Rose Bowl team really means. Deanie?
You're right. There are privileges for winning, for game players and for fans. We're here at this fun tailgate party where it sold out quicker than ever. But like you said, JJ, I sat down and talked with Mark Harlan, the U's athletic director, and he showed us other ways that winning the Rose Bowl can make game day better for fans and players. You're so much about the halo effect for the Rose Bowl. What does that mean to University of Utah athletics?
It's a sign that it's not a fluke, right? To win the championship twice means that we're not only there, we are permanently here.
Rose Bowl means even the new addition to Rice-Eccles Stadium, the Ken Garff Performance Zone, is sold out, and new digs for the players.
This is the fanciest locker room I think I've ever been in.
Well, this is a special space, right? Because our players deserved to have an elite locker room, but it also was designed for recruiting in mind. This is not the lockers of old, right?
No.
Those steel cages.
I was wondering where the lockers were.
It's got all this type of space. Better than a first-class seat. Put your shoulder pads or whatever you want in there. The charging stations, which, right, who can go without their phone being charged during a football game, right? It is fun when the NFL guys come back and they say, wow, this is better than what we have. So that means we must have nailed it. The space is also designed for Coach Whittingham to stand in the middle of the room and to be able to talk to the team.
The whole layout is designed to build momentum on game day.
As you get to see our guys come out of the locker room on the big screen. So we're standing right when the door swings open. And then the players continue to proceed down here, and that's where they run onto the field to the smoke.
At this level, student athletes not only expect facilities, but they want to know what they can earn with the new name, image, and likeness opportunities.
You know, our athletes, as we sit here today, are over about $2 million in contracts. A lot of authentic deals, fun deals. It's been a really great story.
The quarterback's job is to help his offense score points.
I see some of their commercials on TV. Am I in the ballpark if I said Cam Rising, $500,000 a year?
You know, Cam's done really well. Probably not fair for me to speak of anything specific, but Cam's done very well.
Does it make it harder for the U to be able to facilitate those opportunities?
Well, we're allowed to educate them. We're allowed to make sure that we foster introductions, but it's really up to them.
For all the contracts and facilities, the best is still to see these players he comes to know succeed.
So to see their joy, you know, is something that it's hard to really explain.
Care to make a prediction?
As far as the outcome of the game, listen, our guys last year just missed out. You know, to lose in the last few seconds was a tough thing. It was a fantastic football game. I don't know if it's going to be as good a game today, but we're going to beat them.
Okay. Hey, we'll take not as an exciting game as long as that prediction's right, right? All right, from its breathtaking beginning, the moment of loudness has quickly become a beloved tradition at Rice-Eccles Stadium. We'll show you how changes to that tradition is now changing the game for fans.
What an awesome
awesome way for the school to actually bring in their fans and loop in their fans to be a part of this.
What started as a moment to remember 2 young players is now a moment to remember all Utes gone too soon. For many fans, a change to the moment of loudness has brought a whole new connection to the team and to each other.
Chuck was just always a big-time Utah fan. Just a great dad to his boys.
We lost my dad in 2019. He surprised us with tickets, and we went, and it was amazing. He was sick and just miserable the whole game, but that's what he did. He loved it so much.
He told me that the cancer was looking like it was coming back again for a 3rd time.
I'm an emotional human already, so just the straight up moment of loudness video last year was emotional for me.
It just meant so much to everybody because everybody's lost someone.
I scoured through Wes's Twitter feed to find the perfect picture.
When it was time for the moment of loudness, it was the most beautiful thing because I wasn't expecting it. It's just such a cool experience as it is. But then to see Chuck and the boys' picture at the very end, I couldn't, help but stand there and just feel in that moment, and just remembering him and how much he would have loved being there. And it just made the game that much better.
In that moment, it really just felt like he was there. And that was probably one of the coolest experiences that I've had inside Rice Eccles Stadium, to see that and to know that my close friend, was a part of that.
I mean, we're fans, right? We're not the ones out there on the field actually calling plays and making passes, catches. We're not doing any of that, but it's really, really cool to even it's just a little thing, have a picture up there. To me, a fan, to my whole family, like that means more than anything.
Cheering for not only Ty and Aaron, but for your friends and your loved ones that are there. It was pretty remarkable.
What an awesome way for the school to actually bring in their fans and loop in their fans to be a part of this.
We're all one big Utah family.
It really is. It's a whole family. It's not just the team. It's like the fan base. It's the whole school.
It's all about family. It's about remembering those that have moved on. And I think that bond is really strong up at Utah. And I think that's why we're seeing such a success right now with the team.
As expected, that moment of loudness will take place here at the Rose Bowl, either at the end of the 3rd quarter or at the beginning of the 4th. Sam and JJ, I can't wait to see how that feels and how that fills the stadium here in Pasadena.
Oh, Deanie, when they did it last year, just goosebumps. What a great way to do so many great things, and of course something to look forward to. One of many great things to look forward to during this Rose Bowl game.
Yeah, we still have a lot more to come here from the Rose Bowl, though. Coming up, Cam Rising tells us why this game means a little extra to him and his family. And the Utes, they dominated another Pac-12 championship game. We'll relive the night that brought Utah to their 2nd consecutive Rose Bowl when we return live from Pasadena.
That the Utes would represent the Pac-12 in the Rose Bowl, you probably would have called this crazy. They had a 15% chance for this to even happen in the final regular season week.
Yeah, it would have been hard to believe, but everything that needed to happen did for the Utes, and they took advantage of a big opportunity against the 4th-ranked team of the country, USC, in the Pac-12 championship game. Let's take a look back at that big win that earned the Utes a return trip to Pasadena.
USC. And I'm going to say this slowly because I really don't think it's sunk in yet, on the line with a college football.
Caleb Williams is just tearing it up.
Can they finish the drill and secure not only a Pac-12 championship, but he is their best football player. He will make plays. Utah as a team has nothing to lose.
A few years back, remember, Utah was a game away from punching their ticket to the college football playoff. All they had to do was win in the Pac-12 championship, and they were in. Unfortunately for them, they lost.
responds with a field goal. Caleb Williams. He's in and throws it for a touchdown. And you can see it's been nails on fourth down already to sling it down the field. Right there, Mario Williams' first down. Strike back away. That's Quinn Phillips. That's Jensen. He snaps the end zone. Touchdown. Rising steps up and throws to the end zone.
Offer a podcast, though, if they don't.
Time we see Cam Rising wearing Utah's crimson and white. He hasn't made a decision on his future yet, but earlier this week when asked if the outcome of the Rose Bowl could play a role in that decision, his answer could be. A win at the Rose Bowl would be a pretty nice way to go out if he does choose the NFL, but it would also mean a little more to Rising, a kid who grew up just 90 minutes away from Pasadena and who watched this game every year with his family.
I mean the world. I'm watching this game every year. It's been my favorite bowl game ever since I was a kid, and just to be on that podium holding up that trophy is something I always dreamed about, and I just hope to find out what it feels like.
Now, Utah has called this trip to the Rose Bowl a business trip, but that doesn't mean they're not having fun.
No, not at all. Started off with a trip to Disneyland this week. They had the Lowry's Beef Bowl. Even Media Day was filled with a lot of fun, an opportunity for us to talk with them about pretty much everything but football.
With photo day today, team photo day, who on the team takes the most time to make sure they're looking good, looking clean, ready for that picture?
I'm gonna go with Makai. Yeah. He a light skin, so you know, he want to be pretty in his pictures.
Can I put this right here real quick? Go for it. Hey, you like that? Does that mean I can play on Monday? I guess not.
Okay,
I guess not.
What position you want to play? That's the question. Because if it's running back, I'm gonna say no.
Hey, we were just talking to Jaquindon about team photo day today, and I asked him, straight up, hey, who's making sure they're looking good, looking clean for this picture? And he's like, oh, Makai. Makai's making sure he's looking good.
I mean, I am, but my hair not done right now. That's why I got this beanie on. I didn't get a fresh retwist. I'm gonna say him, because he was over there. Where my earrings at?
I don't know.
I can't find my earrings. So he's my roommate, so I was helping him. Well, I wasn't helping him. I was just watching him search, but I think it's him.
Who in the quarterback room is taking the most time to make sure they're looking right for pictures?
100% this guy right here.
Come on now. I woke up and came downstairs after I brushed my hair a little bit. We're good to go. Yeah, I know you had a little night.
Nah, I ain't gonna lie. I woke up, had to make sure these was right, make sure these were straight.
Familiar with the term drip, right? Like clothes, like.
I guess. Moxie.
Who has the best moxie out of all the coaching staff?
Ooh.
2 hours later.
Sharif Shaw, sitting right over there at the corner table. Without a doubt. Would you say that? Coach Shaw?
It's unbelievable that he just went past me right there. But
we're the least drip right here.
Life like this sure is sweet, huh?
It definitely is, man.
I found out from Morgan that you got the drip.
Say it again, that I got the what?
The drip.
No, not me. Not me. Not me. No. No, not me. Not me.
That's an absolute incorrect statement. What we need to make certain that we're aware of is that there are certain coaches that have the moxie, the drip, however you want to frame it. But really, it's the kids, not me. You see that? It's JT. is my man. Look at that. Look at this. My boy from Florida over there. You see, he don't even want to put his stuff out. That's Scooby. Now, that's what you need to know. I'm just over here just being a custodian, just watching, hanging out.
What are your resolutions for this year?
To go 1-0.
Said it. I can't say it better than that right there. Yep.
Hey, look who we found in Pasadena. You can hear him every morning from 6 to 10 on DJ and PK on 97.5 and 1280, the KSL Sports Zone. Patrick Kinahan is here. And I remember sitting in the press box at Oregon, and I thought the season was over, right? You didn't. You never doubted the Utes. But how improbable is it that we're standing here, PK?
This is just unbelievable. Talking to Kyle the day after they beat SC the second time, he couldn't believe it. He was telling me what a wild ride. JJ, when we were walking off that field in Oregon, there was disappointment, there was despair, there was dissatisfaction. It reminded me of when my parents looked at my high school transcripts after 5.5 years. But I got through high school, I graduated college, the Utes got through the Pac-12, and yet again, here they are, the friggin' Rose Bowl. This is absolutely amazing.
You have certainly defied the odds, that is for sure.
So how do they get through this game now, right? Which player could play the role of difference maker this time around for the Utes to be able to take home their first Rose Bowl?
I'm looking for the trenches. Utah is known to dominate, and if they dominate on both sides of the ball, I really don't see any way they lose. Maybe that's some rose-colored glasses. Get that, guys? Yeah, I'm something, one after another. What do you know? But I just think that they are proven to be tough. Manny Diaz, the defensive coordinator for Penn State, said speaking of Utah, they make you question your toughness. Man, that says it all. If they can dominate and Jaquindon Jackson gets 100 yards, I don't see how they lose.
We'll see how it all shapes out. PK, you're the best. We'll enjoy the game.
And we'll see you here next year.
That's right. Why not, huh? Deanie, let's send it over to you.
All right. Sounds fun. I hope you guys are right. We all do, right? Up next, it's a team tradition. How the team hand-painted helmets that pay tribute to their fallen team members, Ty Jordan and Aaron Lowe. And how this year they almost didn't happen. We'll take you behind the scenes to the man behind the airbrush and tell you why initially he said he wouldn't do it. Two Rose Bowl held extra significance as the Utes capped off the season, honoring two teammates who both wore number 22. This year, the team has moved forward together while still taking the time to honor the memory of Ty and Aaron. And the way they brought their brothers back to the field, I think you'll agree, is really beautiful.
By the size of the crowd and the sound of the cheer, you'd never expect that what the Utes came running out wearing in this game came out of this backyard studio in Nebraska.
It's just me and my wife.
150 hand-painted helmets paying tribute to the memories of Ty Jordan and Aaron Lowe, with their portraits on each side.
Such a tribute for, such a tragedy, and the way that the university and the fans and everybody seemed to love these two, that, it was kind of hard not to do something like that for them.
Armando Villarreal has painted helmets for football teams across the country.
I do the work and I ship it off, and it's no big deal.
But there's always been something different about his work for the University of Utah.
Just the way they've welcomed us into the school and the university and everything, it's just been unbelievable.
The Forever 22 tribute helmets are the third Villarreal has painted for the U. The first featured a throwback design, painted to look just as they did in 1966. Each one unique, with rusted rivets, scratches, and grass stains from what would have been a full season of use.
It was a popular one and everything. I didn't get a whole lot of recognition.
The second paid homage to the crew of the USS Salt Lake City.
And that's the one that really took off.
It's the one that solidified his family's status as Ute fans for life.
It's just kind of hard not to be fans, when you feel like that much of the family.
And being a part of the family is what made it impossible to say no to the school's ambitious idea for this year.
But I told him I couldn't do it just because it would have been too much, and he was persistent about it, and we went back and forth for a while, and finally was like, all right, we'll do it. It's kind of it was one of those things that's kind of bigger than football, and that'll probably be the hardest helmet I ever do for a team, that's for sure. The university sent us some pictures to work with to put Aaron and Ty on each side and figure out how those would fit. Put the logo on the back, and then we had a lot of this blank space. I do get a little bit of creative leeway, you know, to make it actually work on a helmet and kind of fill in some of the gaps and finish the design off. We went to the USS Salt Lake City game the year before and got to experience the moment of loudness. So it just seemed, you know, fitting that we put that something to represent that in the background of it and you know, kind of bring the fans into it also, and you know, and something, the tribute that they always have to that.
Having Ty and Aaron on your helmet, it just makes it that much easier to go and just dig deep and do everything you can to try and get the dub.
To get to be part of something that's just so special to so many people, it doesn't make sense sometimes because I'm just the guy that does it. But then when you actually get out and be with everybody and see it on the field and everybody, the way they react to it, and the players talking about it after the game, and it just seems like a dream, you know. I mean, most artists don't get to do something like that, so I'm very, very fortunate that we get to do things like this and to have such a fan base as Utah that has treated us so well.
You can watch much more about the making of this year's tribute helmets in a new documentary called Good Enough. We'll put a link to that on KSL TV and KSLSports.com. Sam and JJ, just another example of a tradition that is going to make this year's game even more meaningful and special.
Awesome, Deanie. Thank you so much. What are the Utes saying about Penn State's offense? And what was the key to the Utes returning to form on defense? All that when KSL's Rose Bowl special continues after this. Defense in the Pac-12, but it took time for that defense to realize its potential.
Yeah, you might remember the failure to contain Florida quarterback Anthony Richardson back in week 1, or even on October 8th, right here at the Rose Bowl. They struggled against UCLA.
So what changed? Well, since the second quarter against USC, the Utah defense has been flat out dominant. They haven't allowed more than 24 points in the game since. They've been disruptive, forcing turnovers, scoring points on defense, and getting after the quarterback, and that included 7 sacks of the Heisman Trophy winner in the Pac-12 championship game.
Just their buy-in to each other, right? You saw, I think, early on a bunch of guys just trying to do their 1/11th and trying to get their job done instead of playing together as a complete defense. And you see that a little bit in the celebration now. They all celebrate together, and they're having fun together. They're buying into each other.
The weeks where we started peaking, you know, playing better defense, playing better ball. I mean, you can just see that we were having fun out there again. When things aren't going your way, like, you kind of forget about I guess not who you are on the field, but like, just like your mojo, you know, like that little swag you got going. And so when things aren't going your way, you know, you kind of lose that. And so, yeah, that fun is definitely real, because when you start having fun, that's when things just come second nature. You just go out there, do your job, and it's probably the best thing you can have out there.
Penn State's offense will present some challenges for the Utah defense for sure. They're the 19th ranked scoring offense in the nation, 34th in total offense, but where they really shine is that run game. A pair of freshman running backs, Nicholas Singleton and Katron Allen, they combined for 1,771 yards and 13 touchdowns this season. Their tight ends will also play a big role in the pass game. The Utes, they'll be ready for all of it.
You look at their productivity catching the football on their away boots, their switch 4 verts. They have no problem. That quarterback has no problem going to their tight ends, and it's kind of a comfort level for them. They do a great job catching the football, sure-handed tight ends.
We have a lot of confidence in our safeties and our safety rooms, and I think that we'll work well together as long as we communicate to each other our assignments and any adjustments in game.
They can put both backs on the field at one time. Both of them do a great job of catching the football as well. So, you know, they'll motion the back out on air in some of their empty sets and have no problem throwing to him. Some teams, they'll motion the back out, and he's just an afterthought. Whereas their backs, you really have to cover them. You know, they're good job catching the ball as well.
All right, Sly is back, and we got to talk about this Penn State offense because the Utes have got to find a way to bottle them up. Those freshman running backs are the real deal, aren't they?
Yes, they are. They are. We're going to have to put a really good scheme together, and there's no better guy than Morgan Scally. Yeah. He and Coach Whittingham know how to run this defense against offenses like that. These are the type of offenses I faced back in the day as far as the strong running game, so I think they know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, they certainly want to make them one-dimensional, all right? Put the ball back in the hands of the quarterback. When that is the case, though, there's no Clark Phillips there to defend for the Utes. How did the Utes fill that void today?
I think we got extreme depth on this football team between our multitude of safeties, our multitude of cornerbacks. Maya Vaughn's going to play a big role today. He's played great the latter part of the season, so expect him to have a big day. He looked great at practice the other day, so really excited for what he and JT Broughton on the outside are going to do because they're going to get a lot of work. We're stuffing up the run, you know, on the inside with our linebackers and safeties and defensive line. A lot of things are going to come to the outside. It's smoke screens where those cornerbacks are going to have to come up and make big plays.
Sly, it's been really interesting to watch this defense evolve since what happened at Florida, which wasn't good, to the point now where they sacked the Heisman Trophy winner 7 times in the championship game. What has stood out to you about the evolution of this defense during the season?
It's got to be the communication.
Yeah.
If anybody talks about teamwork, the core of teamwork is communication. And I think the communication between these guys and the coaching staff and utilizing their technique, they just bought into everything. Ever since the second half of that USC game, these guys have transcended up. And I love what they're doing. They're playing well, and they're having fun. And when you're having fun, you communicate better, and everything is seamless.
Sly, enjoy the call. We'll see you on KSL Sports Live.
Let's do it.
Next Sunday. We got more on KSL's Rose Bowl special coming up right after this. Utes and the Nittany Lions here in the Rose Bowl for 2023. Sam, some final thoughts. What do you think the Utes have to do to win this game?
Well, I really think they need to wear down the Penn State defense when I'm talking about the Utes offense here, and that starts with, you know, PK talked about the battle in the trenches. That's where it starts, but also with the run game. And one player that I'm really looking forward to seeing if his evolution continues is Jaquindon Jackson. Now that he is a full-time running back, we've really seen him shine late in this season. Can he continue to do so today at the Rose Bowl against Penn State?
His confidence is growing for me. Turnover battle, they have to win it. And Cam Rising has to be elite Cam Rising. Not the guy that struggled at times this year. He's got to be at his best. If they do, he's going to be the key factor in the Utes finally hoisting that Rose Bowl trophy and bringing it back to Salt Lake City. Thanks so much for joining us on this special KSL Rose Bowl preview. The game kicks off at 3 p.m. Mountain Time. We hope you all enjoy the game. And join us tonight on the KSL 5 News at 10 for complete coverage live from Pasadena. So long, everybody.
USC, and I'm going to say this slowly because I really don't think it's sunk in yet, on the line with a college football.
Caleb Williams is just tearing it up.
Can they finish the drill and secure not only a Pac-12 championship, but he is their best football player. He will make plays. Utah as a team has nothing to lose.
A few years back, remember, Utah was a game away from punching their ticket to the college football playoff. All they had to do was win in the Pac-12 championship, and they were in. Unfortunately for them, they lost.
Utah responds with a field goal.